How you doing, brother?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Better than great. So to our audience, this is Mr. Joshua Puntervold, and he is. I'm just going to give a little detail about who he is. Okay, so
Okay.
he is married, and he's been married for 6 years, and his wife name is Courtney Puntervold, and his occupation is he's a paint protection film installer. I guess they explain pretty much what that is when we get to it. Okay, and he's right now he's 34 years old. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now he's 34 years
33.
old.
33.
30,
33. Coming up on
33.
34.
So he'll be
Yeah, yeah.
soon. You'll soon be 34.
I'll
Okay,
soon
great.
be 34. Yeah.
All right. In what month?
May.
In May. So yeah,
In
you
May.
right around the corner, brother. Where these months are going, you beat up before you know it. So he has four children, three that are alive, one that is deceased, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and their ages are 3, and he has twins, a set of twins that are 2 years old. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you get what I want to do. I want to share your family with with our audience so they can see your beautiful family. Okay, so there they are right there. So let's have the names. So I think the names is Elena. That's the one your wife is holding, right?
Yeah. She's the one in the middle. Um.
Okay.
She's yeah.
With the orange dress.
Yes. Correct. Correct.
Okay. And then we have Clara.
Uh huh.
That's your wife is holding the left arm.
Yeah.
That's the one that
Yep.
okay. And we have Declan.
Uh huh.
Okay. And that of course that's you with the glasses on, right?
Yes. Yep.
All right, let's see. I think we have another picture here. All right, so there he is. Man, that was a nice shot, man. That's a
Oh
very
yeah.
nice shot. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing those photos of your family with us. We certainly appreciate it. But
Absolutely.
nevertheless, so let's get into the conversation here. We know that there are a lot of we have a lot of especially on the women's side, they make the decision whether or not they want to become a mother or not. And I'm sure
Oh
that
yeah.
we have some fathers that feel the same way. So my question to
Mhm.
you, what was your reason of wanting to become a father?
Well, number one, desire. I desire to have my own children, and the thing about that though is I really didn't have the knowledge base. Never really been around kids too much. When I was growing up, I was the youngest of three children, and so I mean, my cousins that lived nearby, I was the youngest, and as I was growing up, there was never really babies around or anything like
Uh-huh.
that for me to just gain an understanding of how to be with children. And by the time I was an adult, I didn't care to be around children at all, really. Mostly because I don't like looking stupid in front of other people, and so I didn't want to say something wrong, or
Right.
just I don't know. So I just stayed away from children, and so I mean, I did have that desire to be a father.
Uh-huh.
In the same sense, I didn't have any knowledge. So, the reason I really, chose, to add to that, was because I believe it's a call from God. And I
Mm.
believe it's a call from
Oh,
God to raise up children who love and who worship Him, and who follow His ways. So, that would probably be, the best reasoning behind it. What pushed me to have my own children, even though I didn't have that knowledge base, even though I didn't, I haven't been around kids too often. As I really felt like it was, something that God does in the family.
man, that's awesome. Of course, he did ordain and establish family,
Yep.
and it's important that we know that family truly is the first government, first
Yep.
form of government, with the fathers, of course, with the father as the head of that particular government. Now that's
Mhm.
great, hey, and it was something that you said there that you didn't have a clue about children or anything, and it's interesting that I'm still waiting. I might be the first to present this. I've never seen when I had my children, nobody walked up to me and handed me a manual for fatherhood. Hey, this is what you need to
No.
do. This is how you, this is how you hold the baby. This is how you change the diaper. This is
Oh
what you
yeah.
do when the baby won't go to sleep at night. You know, it's just
Uh-huh.
nobody had ever told me that. You know, so
Yep.
a lot of information in which that we get, we garner, we get it from as we progress through our fatherhoods. And again, and for all you new fathers, okay, listen. We have been where you are at, so don't sweat it. Don't fret. It's okay. You're gonna be
Yeah.
fine. We
You get a
survived. Yeah.
few days at the hospital, and you know, they might show you a thing or two about how to change a diaper, and you
Yeah.
know, for the boys, they tell you to point the rocket down, and you know, that's pretty much all you get. But
Yeah. Yeah.
after that, they send you home, and you're on your own.
Yo.
And,
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So tell us, answer this my next question. What do you love most about being a father?
I would just say, you know, watching my kids grow up, you know,
Wow.
I really love watching them be themselves. You
Hmm.
know, when they're learning to run for the first time or learn to jump. I don't know if you've, you know, ever saw a kid try to jump for the first time and their feet don't even leave the ground. They just kind of shake a little, you know, and they
Yeah.
I jump, and and they do that for a little bit, you know, and
Right.
then their feet leave the ground, but they don't go any higher. They just,
Uh,
you know, their feet, they go up and they just drop, you know, before they hit the floor.
that's
So,
it, man.
you know, just things like that. You know, I love watching them be themselves, learn the alphabet.
Right.
You know, my boy, when he was learning the alphabet, he'd get to X and Y. Every time he hit the Y, he would do a high pitched voice. So the whole alphabet would be the same, and then he X, Y, Z, you know, every single time. We never knew why the Y got a special pitch about
Right.
it, but you know, and so you know, just watching them learn, be themselves.
Right.
I remember my daughter running for the first time, and
Okay.
you know, we were at church and we were standing in the back and there was preaching going on, and
Uh-huh.
she just decided to you know, to just kind of lean into it, and she just ran herself across the back of the church, and she had never run before in her whole life.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
mean, just to see her do that, and then, you know, and then all of a sudden she leaned into it again. She just
Uh-huh.
ran across, just hobbling across the floor, and just, man, I had never seen her move so quick. And
Wow.
probably for another 3 months, she never did it again. But I mean, when the Spirit of God comes on you, you just do stuff that
Just
you
do
never
stuff.
done
That's
before.
it.
So, and it takes your brain a minute to catch up, I guess, you know,
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You
she,
know, it's those
go ahead.
memories, man, that we always remember, you know, and we never want to forget, especially when they are young like that, man. It's just to see them do things for the very first time, man. That's great. Let me ask you another question here. What would you consider to be your greatest accomplishment as a father?
My greatest accomplishment.
Yeah.
Uh, well, you know, there's a lot of influences in the world that try to pull you away from being a father. They're going to tell you that, you know, you don't make enough money and you need to provide better things for your kids, or that you need
Mhm.
to go back in school and, you know, get yourself a better education so you can get a better degree so your children can look up to you, and they're going
Right.
to tell you, you know, maybe you need to go start a business, all these other things that's trying to
Uh-huh.
pull you away. And you know, there's a time for all of those things,
Right.
but you know, God just showed me that I just need to be content, and it's okay to just be a father,
Wow.
you know,
That's
to
good.
not go out and, you know, pursue all those things and take myself away from my kids, you know, the ones that I'm trying to provide a better life for, the ones I'm
Mhm.
trying to be, you know, that person for. And, you know, I was just, you know, thinking I had to do all these other things, and, you know, and God's just, you know, telling me, hey, you know, just be content with what I've given you. And, you know, that's given me the opportunity to really be there with my kids, and not out pursuing a bunch of stuff that at the end of the day, it's empty. You know, there's things I want to do. There's things I want to, you know, I want to accomplish in my life, and I'm going to go after those things, and I'm going to do those things. But right now, it's okay to just be a father.
Man, those were great words of wisdom. And I'm praying and hoping that other fathers, whether or not you've been a father for 1 month or for 10 or 20 years, that
Yeah.
you grab a hold of those words. You know, when you were talking, I was thinking about my oldest son. He has 3 children himself, 2
Yeah.
boys and 1 girl. And he's always planning trips with them.
Yeah.
He invested in a camper. I guess that
Yeah.
cuts down on hotels.
Oh yeah.
And he's always, every time I look around, son, are you in town or you're out of town? Because they always was gone. And no matter what I noticed and what I loved about it, that he doesn't allow anything outside to interfere with that. Whatever is on his schedule, as far as when it comes down to them going camping or going to some amusement or traveling, he's making sure, he's making it his business that him and his wife are going to spend time with their children. That goes back to what I was saying, is that I said this in one of my previous videos, that it doesn't matter how much money you have, whether or not you have $1, whether or not you have $100, $1,000 in your pocket. The most thing that child remembers the most is the time that you spent with them. And that was great, bro. That was great. So would you say? I think you may have answered this question as far as what have been your greatest challenge as a father.
One of the other challenges, which is, pretty great challenge, how I said it is it's one of my loves to just watch my kids be who they are. That's also one of my greatest challenges.
Right. Wow.
Sometimes it's hard to just let them be themselves and, learn some things on their own, or, or knowing, when to step in and help them a little bit, but, give them that opportunity to really, learn things. So it's hard sometimes to, to know when to step in, or, my children, they went through this phase where just every single one of them at one point or another just wanted to be a cat. And they walk around the house on their hands and knees meowing. And, it's okay. But, after a while, it kind of gets annoying, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to, brush my boy's teeth one day. And so I call him into the bathroom and I'm waiting in there and he's not coming. So I turn around the corner and he's crawling about as fast as a cat can crawl, making his way over to me and just meow and stopping every few feet to look around. And I mean, so, it's kind of a challenge sometimes to just let them be themselves, and not to get onto them too harshly about, certain things. So, I mean, as long as they're not being too loud and they're not, just screaming their heads off, but not long as they're not, saying things they shouldn't, getting out of hand with that. I do my best to, let them be themselves, but it is a challenge sometimes, but I love it. I love it when they're themselves, but it's also a challenge.
I've been there, done that. But that's great, man. That's great. So, okay, let me ask another question. And we about pretty much at the end. What advice would you give to other young men who desire to be a father?
I mean, we talked a little bit about it. It's definitely, there's a stewardship that comes with being a father. You can't just live your own life. You can't just go and check out and do your own thing. You need to be there for your kids. At the end of the day, all the statistics about, fatherless homes, right? If you're technically, if you are there, but you're checked out in another place, it's pretty much the same thing. That child doesn't have a father. If you're checking, you're not there to discipline them. You're not there to, to be with them and, to love on them. So just be there, be present with them. At the end of the day, it is a hard thing to first break into. And the finances, they may never be right. You may not have the knowledge base like I didn't. Me and Courtney, we didn't have all that stuff together. And I knew as soon as we began this journey that she was going to want to become a stay-at-home mom. So that meant, not only a loss of income, but I already didn't make too much to begin with. So, the finances, they weren't exactly there. And like I said, I didn't have the knowledge base, but you have to know that, if you do this thing on faith, and that's what we did it on, we believed, what God said, in Genesis, where he said, be fruitful and multiply. And if
Mhm.
God said it, he's going to provide for it.
Mhm.
And so, you have to have that understanding that God will provide where you don't have enough, so you don't need to go out and get that second job. You don't have to have, two jobs that, just to keep the family going. Don't go down that path. You need to be there for your kids, let
Wow.
go of that, understand that, yeah, you want to provide more for them, and, that'll come. But really at this point, they need you. So, just move forward, and God will provide. He'll be there.
Thank you for watching The Father's Note. Please like, comment, and share as we continue to promote fathers through building men.